Madam Speaker, I beg leave to move the motion standing in my name on the order paper, namely, this Assembly is of the opinion that, pursuant to Section 39 of the Constitution, the Chagos Archipelago, including Diego Garcia, shall be included in such one of the constituencies as the Electoral Boundaries Commission may determine. Madam Speaker, this motion provides for the inclusion of the Chagos Archipelago, including Diego Garcia, in such one of the constituencies of Mauritius as the Electoral Boundaries Commission may determine. Madam Speaker, as the House is aware, on 25th of February 2019, the International Court of Justice delivered its advisory opinion on the legal consequences of the separation of the Chagos Archipelago from Mauritius in 1965. The International Court of Justice found that the decolonization process of Mauritius was not lawfully completed when it acceded to independence in 1968 in view of the unlawful excision of the Chagos Archipelago from the territory of Mauritius. It concluded that the UK is under an obligation to bring an end to its administration of the Chagos Archipelago as rapidly as possible, and that all member states are under an obligation to cooperate with the United Nations in order to complete the decolonization of Mauritius. The House is also aware that on 22nd of May 2019, the United Nations General Assembly adopted by an overwhelming majority of 116 votes to 6 a draft resolution which was tabled by Senegal on behalf of African states, members of the United Nations, to give effect to the advisory opinion of the International Court of Justice. In the resolution which it adopted, the General Assembly has, inter alia, affirmed that the Chagos Archipelago forms an integral part of the territory of Mauritius and that the continued administration of the Chagos Archipelago by the United Kingdom constitutes a wrongful act entailing the international responsibility of that state. The General Assembly has therefore demanded that the United Kingdom withdraws its colonial administration from the Chagos Archipelago unconditionally within a period of not more than 6 months, thereby enabling Mauritius to complete the decolonization of its territory. The General Assembly has further called upon the United Nations and all its specialized agencies, as well as all other international, regional, and intergovernmental organizations, including those established by treaty, to recognize that the Chagos Archipelago forms an integral part of the territory of Mauritius and to support the decolonization of Mauritius as rapidly as possible. The General Assembly has also called upon the United Kingdom to cooperate with Mauritius in facilitating the resettlement of Mauritian nationals, including those of Chagosian origin in the Chagos Archipelago, and to pose no impediment or obstacle to such resettlement. Madam Speaker, it follows from the United Nations General Assembly resolution that under the rules and principles of international law, Mauritius is the sole state lawfully entitled to exercise sovereignty and sovereign rights over the Chagos Archipelago and its maritime zones. As such, the United Kingdom is an illegal colonial occupant and has no right to take any action in respect of the Chagos Archipelago. Madam Speaker, I did not recall that all the former inhabitants of the Chagos Archipelago were forcibly and shamefully removed by the United Kingdom from the archipelago in the wake of its unlawful excision from Mauritius in blatant violation of their fundamental human rights. Our citizens of Chagosian origin have since yearned to resettle in the Chagos archipelago. Government supports their legitimate aspiration to do so and is committed to implementing a program for resettlement in the Chagos archipelago. A special provision of 50 million rupees has been made in the budget for this fiscal year with a view to, inter alia, enabling government to start preparations for eventual resettlement on some of the islands of the Chagos archipelago. In the context of eventual resettlement in the Chagos archipelago, we need to ensure that our citizens who will be living in the Chagos archipelago can continue to exercise all their rights, including their right to vote. Madam Speaker, Section 39 of the Constitution provides that this Assembly may by resolution provide that any island forming part of Mauritius that is not comprised in the island of Mauritius or Rodrigues shall be included in such one of the constituencies as the Electoral Boundaries Commission may determine, and with effect from the next dissolution of Parliament after the passing of any such resolution, this section shall have effect accordingly. In this regard, it is proposed that the Chagos archipelago be included in such one of the constituencies as the Electoral Boundaries Commission may determine. Once this motion is passed by the Assembly, the Electoral Boundaries Commission will be informed accordingly so that the Commission may, pursuant to Section 39 of the Constitution, determine the constituency in which the Chagos archipelago shall be included. With these words, Madam Speaker, I commend the motion to the House.